Right. All right. Good afternoon and welcome to your 1:30 flow class here at Zenner Mobile Yoga. My name is Cheryl Case, and this is my inaugural class here at Zenner. So I'm very excited that you're sharing this with me. This is a new concept for us, and it will be a work in progress as we sort of fine tune our focus, where we're going to go and how we're going to get there. But I'll tell you my vision going in. You may not be able to see on Zoom how much gray is up there, and you may not be able to see how many wrinkles are over here. But I am a yogi with some extra birthdays. And I find myself when I go to a classic stereotypical vinyasa flow class, that while I'm welcome at the class doesn't really accommodate me or meet me where I'm at in my body. So Jennifer has opened this opportunity for us to design a class for a little bit more mature yogi who still wants the full physical benefits of the practice, but perhaps is not interested in becoming a human pretzel or doing headstands or being overwhelmed by the practice. So what we're going to do in this time slot over the next eon is develop a practice that meets us where we're at. So as you will see as we go on, I love props, love props. So if I had my way in a perfect yoga world, every student would come to the mat with at least one block or the equivalent, a strap or the equivalent, a blanket or a beach towel. And I'll tell you the truth, I have developed a new love of folding chairs, because what I found is folding chairs are just really big blocks. So please feel free to customize the practice to meet your needs. Don't meet me where I'm at. Help me meet you where you're at. And hopefully that'll be the same place. So what we're going to do in this been a slower, gentler vinyasa flow. Let me back up, because this is an Iyengar-based studio. Not a lot of vinyasa happens here. So vinyasa is a Sanskrit word that literally means to place in a special way. What does that mean? We get on a yoga mat. But the flow part is that we begin to link postures, breath to movement, and we move with the breath and breathe with the movement. So we're going to do that, but we're going to take it down a notch. We're going to put it in third gear, not in sixth, and find the pace that works for us, and find the postures and the transitions that work for us. What I found is working in this demographic is that a lot of times it's the transitions. It's the getting on the floor, off the floor, on the floor, off the floor that is hard for some of us to do. So what I've done with this class concept is we won't do quite as many transitions. We will tend to be up or down and transition once or twice, but not with every other breath. So that's my concept, and we'll see how that works. It may work for the group that we attract, and it may not. But I would hope that you will give me very honest feedback on what works for you and what does not work for you. Feel free, if you are in studio or on Zoom, feel free to stop me and ask me questions. Feel free. And know that as we move through our practice together today and other days, I like to stop and take a difficult or a challenging posture apart. I break it into pieces, because you can always work one part of a posture, not the whole thing. And another thing I like to do is change the relationship with gravity. So if I'm going to introduce you to something that requires a lot of balancing, a lot of times what we'll do is come down to the floor, make the physical shape, get that wired in, and then maybe we'll stand up and do it on one leg. And as I said, I love the use of props. I love the use of walls or another piece of furniture or a folding chair. If you can take a posture apart and do the parts that work for you, then the next time or the next time or the next time, you add in another part and you begin to develop the posture rather than just be frustrated by the posture. So what I'm going to ask you to do, because I don't know some of the people who will be participating, I will ask you to practice with safety in mind. One rule in Cheryl's yoga world: if it hurts, stop doing it. If it feels good, do it twice. But if it hurts, that's your body telling you this is wrong. So don't listen to me, listen to you. If you don't take anything else away, listen to you. I'm a GPS system. I have a destination picked out. I have a route in mind. I know where some construction zones are. I know where some scenic overlooks are, but it's your trip. It's your journey. So you do you at any point, and when and if you're ready, jump back in and join me. I will demonstrate a lot, especially as we're just getting started. And then as time goes by, I'll demonstrate less and less so I can start to see what you're doing, because a fresh set of eyes, I may be able to see your left hip drops or your right foot is turned in and help you make an adjustment that brings your body into better alignment, better use, better biomechanical use of your body, and makes it more comfortable. So I will demonstrate a lot and then I won't. But you can always, as I said, feel free to stop me and ask me, can you say that again? Can you show me again? What does that look like? And I'll try to do that. If you're watching on Zoom from home, keep in mind that I'm old and I wear bifocals and I'm looking at you on a TV screen and you're a little bitty yogi, just a little bitty yogi. So if you're trying to get my attention, please do not be subtle about it. Pretend like you're a high school cheerleader and wave at me. And technology is not my friend. If my microphone goes out, wave at me and let me know. So let's make this a collaborative effort. We will do this together. All right, that's enough of the warm-up speech and we'll get started. So I'm going to take some very, very basics today and introduce you to a couple of my loves and pet peeves. And I do have a student that I'm going to talk to directly, and those of you who are watching recorded, just follow along. But have you been taught how to sit on a yoga mat?
No.
I'm getting a blank face. Okay, let me give you a little 411 on how to sit on a yoga mat. Keep in mind, it has taken me about 4 years to sit here comfortably, okay, for it to actually be comfortable. What happens anatomically when you sit your hip bones flat on the floor and cross your legs in front of you is the curve that is supposed to be in your low back disappears. It flattens out. So now, rather than your spine, rather than your bones supporting the weight of your body, the muscles are trying to do that. And within a matter of 3 breaths, the muscles start to get tired and you start to find yourself becoming a yoga turtle. Well, there is a posture in yoga known as turtle, but we're not doing that today. So the trick is you can take a block, but if you do the math on the width of my hips and the width of the block, you'll find that they do not match. I like to take a blanket or a beach towel. Beach towels work great. I fold it till it's about 1 inch or 1.5 inches thick. And then the trick is sit up on your blanket. Take your time, grab your towel, grab your blanket. And get that positioned like about on the back third, so there's room for your feet on the yoga mat. And then bring your hindquarters. That's probably a little too thick, Wanda. You're going to want it about half that size because we're not through yet. Yeah. So fold it rather than roll it. Yeah. There you go. Try that. Try that. And we'll see how that works. You may want one more fold. You'll have to play with it. So go ahead and take a seat on that and get seated on it. Sit back on it. All right. Because you're not going to stay long. Now begin to shimmy forward and let the meat of your legs and your sits bones come down onto the mat. And the only thing left up on the blanket is the fleshy part, the soft parts, okay? What that does is puts that curve in your low back, puts it back in. Now, it also drops your knees wider. So we adjust one way and then we adjust another. But if you will learn to sit up just off the edge of something, it'll let that curve in your low back be where it's supposed to be. So now the bones in your spine support your weight of your chest and shoulders, not the muscles. And you'll find it easier to keep your shoulders back and open. And we'll work a lot on opening shoulders. I'm really into shoulders right now. But if you've already found that this is miserable down here, a block, a blanket, a pillow, stuff something in that empty space. If it makes your hips and knees uncomfortable, you can always send a leg out. But this sitting crisscross applesauce has a whole lot of benefits in terms of opening up your body to the movement. So we like to get in this habit, even though it's going to take a while for it to be comfortable, but make it less uncomfortable until we're ready. So what I'd like you to do is find that tall seat and get some ballast down on your yoga mat so that your hips are tipped forward a little bit. And then I'll ask you to bring your hands to your knees. And if you're comfortable, close your eyes. And begin to come into your body. Just settle in. Let the day go away. We're done. Begin to settle into your body, your mind, your spirit. Where are you at today? Begin to check in with you. That's it. Ask yourself, how am I? But ask it like you mean it. Ask it like you're asking a beloved friend that you haven't seen for years, how are you? Ask it. And then listen to the answer. And just like with your beloved friend, don't judge, don't argue, just listen to the answer and don't attempt to fix it. Right now, it just is what it is, and that's okay. But begin to tune into you. Who showed up on the mat today? And when you said, how are you? Did your mind go to physical, mental, or emotional? No judgment, no right or wrong, just awareness. We tend to go through life on autopilot, cruise control, and we're not really aware of what's going on. And yoga asks us to be aware. So we'll start with that first breath. So with eyes gently closed, sits bones anchored on the floor, perhaps the shoulders come up and back just a little bit to stack over the hips. And perhaps the ears come back over the shoulders just a little bit to stack the spine. And then maybe the chin drops 1 millimeter so that you find some length in the back of your neck. And breathe. Invite the breath in. Invite it consciously, not just allowing it to happen, but invite the breath into the body. And then let it go. Invite the breath a little deeper into the body, and then slowly, softly let it go. And settle into a slow, juicy breath, eyes closed, breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. Breathing in, feeling the lungs expand, and breathing out, feeling a sense of letting go. Breathe in to fill the body, getting fuller, and breathe out to release any tension. Breathing in to feel alive and awake. Breathing out, feeling the muscles soften. With eyes opened or closed, sitting up nice and tall, take a nice slow inhale, and with your exhale, allow your right ear to slowly drop toward your left shoulder. Take your time. Allow it to drift toward your shoulder. Now remind your shoulder it's not invited to the party, so the shoulder stays relaxed as the ear drifts that direction. A nice slow inhale, bring your head back up to center, and with the exhale, allow the left ear to drift toward the left shoulder. See if there's a stretch, any sensation, maybe some Rice Krispies. And no judgment, just awareness of what's going on in your body. Inhale and slowly bring your head back to center. Exhale and let the right ear drift toward the shoulder. And now if it feels okay, let's add on. Take your left hand away from your knee and stretch it down so that just the fingertips touch the mat. At any point, if it doesn't feel good, back up. But if it feels okay here, take the fingertips off the mat and draw the fingertips back toward your shoulder as if you were holding up a stop sign. And then softly close the left hand, draw the left hand back to your knee, and then with the inhale, your head comes back to neutral. And let's try it on the other side. Softly, let the left ear go to the left shoulder, and if that feels okay, we send the opposite hand, the right hand out long enough that just the fingertips touch the mat. If that feels okay, lift the fingertips, but leave the heel of the hand down toward the floor, but we're pressing away a stop sign. Then closing the hand, drawing the hand back to the knee, bring the head back to center. And if it would feel good, wiggle through the shoulders, waggle them around, roll the head and neck, and then come back to neutral. We're going to start today with a seated stretch or a seated series of stretches, and then we'll get up and get moving in just a moment. We'll probably go slower today than at any other time. As we get used to one another, we'll find the right pace. So still sitting up tall, crisscross applesauce. Remember, if you need to stretch a leg out, go for it. But sitting up nice and tall, crisscross applesauce, bring your right hand down beside your hip, maybe on the fingertips, and sitting tall, slowly bring the left hand across to the right knee, twisting at the belly button, let your shoulders go toward the opposite wall. Now, this is not an Olympic personal best. We're just beginning to warm the body. Inhale, float both hands through center. Left hand comes to the floor, right hand comes to your knee. And you take a little twist at the belly button, going the other direction. Now, you can keep your head in line with your sternum, with your breastbone, or if it feels okay, let your head continue to rotate, and maybe you look back over your shoulder. I advise keeping your eyes closed this whole process. Inhale, come through center, and exhale, take that gentle seated twist. Look for length in your spine, width in your shoulders, openness in your heart. Inhale, come through center, and exhale, the gentle seated twist the other direction. We'll do that one more time each direction. Inhale, pass through center. Exhale, a seated twist. Inhale, pass through center. Exhale, a seated twist. Inhale, come back to center. Right hand comes down beside your left hip or right hip again, only this time take it a little bit behind you, just a tiny bit. Left hand reaches out, up, and over. We're taking a side body bend here. Now, if the right shoulder became an earring, slide that hand further out or even drop the elbow down so that you've got lots of space between your bottom ear and bottom shoulder. Hip bones stay on the mat, knees stay soft. Inhale, lift up, come through center. Both hands reach for the sky like the winning lottery ticket was up there. And exhale, drop it the other side. Now, shoulders stay back by hips, stacked over hips, not over knees. So we're not leaning forward, we're bending to the side, stretching the rib cage. Inhale, reach for the sky. And exhale, take the side body bend. Notice if the two sides are different. They probably are. Inhale up and exhale over. That doesn't mean one is good and one is bad, one is right and one is wrong. It means they're different. Inhale, come up, last time going this direction, and exhale, go over. Inhale, come up, last time, and exhale, go over. And inhale back to center, bring your hands down to your knees. Let's get in one more seated move, and then we're going to get up and get moving. So still sitting tall, shoulders back open, heart open, spine long. Take a nice, long, slow inhale. And with the exhale, allow your chin to roll down to your chest and then to just keep going. Allow your spine to arch, to curl as your chin touches your chest and your nose goes for your navel. The crown of your head heads for your ankles. Let your elbows lift and float wide so that you can spread out through the shoulder blades. Next, inhale, uncurl from the bottom. So uncurl the hips, stack the low back, the mid back, the upper back, the shoulders, the neck, the head. Hang on to those knees. Let's take that arch in the spine the other direction. So rock back, hang on to your knees as you rock back, finding an arch in the spine this direction. Probably not quite as dynamic, but still impactful. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, curl it down. Now you know where we're going. It's a little easier to go there, but we're making a little yogi roly-poly bug. And then inhale, take your time, stack the spine, come back to neutral. And then with the next exhale, arch the belly forward, shoulders go back. Head can stay in control, or if it feels okay, you can let your head drop behind you, up to you. Inhale, bring it back to neutral center. Exhale, curl it down one more time. Last time, inhale, bring it back to center, and exhale, curl it back behind you. And then inhale, come back to center. Take any wiggles that you need to take. So we're coming to one of those transitions that I was telling you. We're going to learn to be nice to our bodies. The trick in yoga is to roll forward over to your knees to come to all fours, and you are welcome to do that. I find it very uncomfortable. So unwind yourself in any way that feels good to you, but come to all fours on the mat. Now, all fours in a tabletop position. Spread your hands wide, take up space. I like to put pinky fingers on the edges of my mat. And then we're rooting down through the ball mounds of the fingers, through the tips of the fingers, through the base of the thumb, and allowing the outside heel of the hand to come to the mat. But our weight, our focus is between the thumb and the first finger. Look down at your elbows, give them a little rotate so that the elbows face forward. Try that again, maybe 2 or 3 times, and notice how it changes your shoulders. So this is a tabletop position. Spine is long, gaze is flat down, chin is tucked just that little bit. So you've got lots of length from the base of the spine all the way up through the cross of the crown of the head. Tuck the toes on both feet and gently drop your hips back in the direction of your heels. Something, your feet or your knees will tell you when you're done, and that's the perfect place. And then inhale, rock it forward. Exhale, drop the hips toward the heels one more time. And inhale, come back to a stationary tabletop position. You can untuck the left toes if you'd like, leave the right ones tucked. Inhale, slide the right foot long behind you on the toes. So toes are on the mat, pressing back through the heel, and find a little rock forward and back. Surf this out is what I call it. And make it active enough that you're flexing through the wrists, the ankles, and the toes. And of course, anything else that's in between. Now, if you find a sticky spot, stay there. Otherwise, just surf it out a little bit. Come back to a stationary tabletop position. Inhale, lift the right foot straight up behind you. Now think level from heel to hip to shoulder. It may not look level, doesn't matter. Does it feel level? Press back through the heel like you were going to leave your footprint on the wall behind you. And we'll breathe. A nice big inhale and a nice big exhale. And an inhale. Exhale, keep that leg lifted, swing it behind you and set it down off your yoga mat. We're on the toes and we've got a squeeze going way up high in the thighs, right up against the groin. Keep your shoulders lifted, heart lifted and open. Keep the heart lifted, but twist a little bit back to check on your toes. Did they go where you thought they did? Yeah. Yeah, you lost me. Wanda, did you lose me? And we're frozen. And we're frozen. Welcome back.
Okay, I was about to text you and say it froze and disappeared.
Gotcha. All right. All right. Thank you. I heard you say half my name, and then I looked up, and you were like suspended in midair, and I thought, no, she's not staying right there. All right. Let's see what happens. We'll go the other direction. So, did you get across?
No.
Okay, so go ahead and bring the right foot across behind you. The squeeze is up at the groin, you're up on the toes, and then we take a little side body twist to look back at the right toes. Equal weight in both hands so the shoulders stay lifted. So it'll be a side body stretch in one rib cage and a little bit or a lot of a stretch in the other outside hip. Then lift that leg up, swing it wide the other direction, and set it down off your mat. And it doesn't really matter where it goes. Heel can be way back, toes can be up above your fingers, but make sure the sole of your foot is flat on the mat. We're trying to open the inside of that thigh just a little bit. And then softly bend that knee, draw it back in, find your tabletop, and give yourself a little wiggle waggle. Then come back to all fours to center. Let's go the other side. Tuck the toes on the left foot, slide it back, and surf it out. Just rocking it forward and rocking it back. Just a little movement through all the joints. Then come back to center. Left heel lifts. Find a sensation of level. Roll the pinky toe down just a little bit to drop the hip. It wants to pop up. And we hold for just a breath, just to build some strength in the backside of the body. Then next inhale, exhale, swing the left foot behind you, set it down off your mat. Squeeze the thighs together up at the groin. We're stimulating the lymph system when we do that. Chest stays lifted, shoulders stay open as we take a little glance back over our right shoulder to see where our left foot ended up. And just a breath. Inhale, lift the left leg, swing it around, and set it down. Doesn't matter where, but we want the foot flat on the mat so that we're opening up through the inside of the thigh. Then soften that knee, draw it back in. We're back in our tabletop position. How are you with down dog, Wanda? Do you like down dog?
But I can do it.
That was not my question. All right, we're only going to do one today, so we'll make it an honest down dog. Walk the hands forward about a handprint. Tuck your toes under. Keep your knees deeply bent. Lift your hips up and back. Knees are still bent, but the head rotates down so the ears are between the biceps. Keep a deep bend in your knees. And then walk your dog. Pedal it out. Drop one heel and then the other. Rock the heels, the hips from side to side. Rock the shoulders. Everything between toes and fingertips can move. We're only going to do one downward facing dog. So we'll make it count and then we'll get moving. So come back to a stationary downward facing dog. Knees can be bent or straightened. Inhale. Exhale, bend the knees, drop them almost to the mat. Inhale, push back through the shoulders, then through the hips, then let the knees straighten and the heels drift toward the mat. Heels may or may not touch the mat today or ever. That's not the goal of downward facing dog. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, gaze lifts, look between your hands, roll up on the toes. Exhale, walk your way, bring your feet to your hands, 1,000 baby steps. End up at the front of your mat, ragdoll forward fold. Feet about hip-width distance apart, deep bend in the knees. Let the tummy rest on the thighs. And let it rest. We've got a squat going here. Let the hands, arms, head and neck dangle long. Let everything north of your hips be limp. A little bit of engagement in the legs, but if you're balanced nicely on your feet, you can hold for just a breath and let the low back expand and release. Bring your hands to center. Inhale slowly. Roll up your spine one vertebra at a time. Just slide your hands up your legs and stack your body. Hips over heels, shoulders over hips, ears over shoulders, and then rotate the palms of your hands out. Try that again. Rotate the palms of your hands out and notice how that takes your shoulders back together and down. So this is mountain pose. Every posture in yoga moves from this point, has some relationship to mountain pose. So find this feeling of connection. Pick up your toes, spread them out, look down, it matters. You make a neural connection and then release the toes. Find the feeling of your feet on the mat. Now you can bring the feet closer together if you'd like, or leave them a little further apart. I have generous thighs. I like my feet to be about hip width distance apart. We're going to do a variation now of a standing sun salutation A. So not upping and downing, but just staying up. Inhale, sweep the hands up and over for extended mountain. Soften the shoulder blades down a little bit. Lift the chin level with the floor. Exhale, bring the hands softly through heart center. Bend the knees, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Not rounding, but folding, eventually releasing the hands in the direction of the floor. They don't have to touch. They can come to a chair or a block. Hold here for just a breath, warming up and stretching out the backside of the body. Inhale, halfway lift. Bring your hands up, thumbs in your hip creases, elbows drawn back by your hips. Fold your bird wings in. Gaze flat down. We're in a tabletop position. We're just standing up. Little bit of weight forward, like you were standing on a diving board. And then exhale, slowly fold forward. Maybe the knees bend, maybe this time they're a little straighter. We'll move through this a little quicker and add on. Inhale, extended mountain, come all the way up and over. Exhale, forward fold, right back down again. Inhale, halfway lift, find the flat tabletop back. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, extended mountain. Let's add on all the way up. Left hand takes hold of right. Find some length in the arm and take a side body bend on the exhale. Now today, your choice. Keep the hips over the heels or let the hips go out for a big stretch. Inhale brings us back to center. We switch hands, and exhale takes us the other direction. Inhale back to center and exhale forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, find a tabletop back and exhale fold. Inhale all the way up, extended mountain. We're going to add on again. Take the side body bend one direction. Inhale to center, side body bend the other direction. Inhale back to center, cactus out the arms and find a standing back bend. Let the hips go forward, shoulders and elbows go back. Inhale to center and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, and exhale, fold forward. Plant the hands to the mat, bend the knees, step your left foot way back, and then drop the left knee. So this is an anchored lunge. Hands can come to the floor or to a block. So for some of us, we need a little more space. Feel free to raise the floor to reach where you're at. Come into this low lunge and again, surf it out. Warm up the hips and the hamstrings just a little bit. Give the body warning that you're going to ask it to do something unusual. Then come back to a kneeling low lunge. So this is an anchored low lunge. Going to get ready for a big move here. Tuck the toes under, lift the back knee. Spin the back heel down, back foot parallel to the short edge of the mat. Inhale, light in the fingers, light in the torso. Lift up, we'll find a warrior two. So let's back off the warrior two just a little bit. Come back to just a triangle shape. One set of toes one way, one set of toes the other way. Hips are somewhere in the middle, and that's the part we're going to work on. Bring your hands to your collarbones, thumbs to your collarbones. Notice where your elbows are going. Rotate your elbows to the long edge of your mat. Notice that your hips went along for the ride. Then drop into your lunge in the front leg. Send the front fingers out, back fingers out. Look over your front fingers. This should be a pretty good warrior two for you. If it's not, adjust. We're exploring, we're learning. If warrior two is miserable, lose the lunge, straighten the knee. Soft, strong but soft, not locked out. But sometimes it takes a while to build into the lunge. But find this basic posture, warrior two. And we'll hold the first one for just a breath or two, just to have time to settle the feet, the knees, the hips, the shoulders, the head, to find the posture. Inhaling and exhaling. If arms get heavy, bring your hands to your hips. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, feet and legs stay where they're at. Reach forward and exhale, tick-tock. So one hand goes for the sky. The other can come down to rest on your leg or on the floor. But find length in both side bodies. Shoulders are in line with the legs. So we're not bowing forward. In fact, we're almost tipping over backwards. Leave the feet and legs where they are. Inhale, reverse warrior. The bottom hand comes up and over. The top hand comes down. Lots of choices. Down your back leg to your waist, or begin to wrap it around for a half bind. Top hand can go straight up, or you can begin to find a side body stretch. Reverse warrior. We'll go slow the first time, then we'll pick it up. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale, cartwheel your hands to the mat, frame your foot, turn the back toes. Now from here, you've got options. So what I'm going to ask you to do this first time is merely step the back foot forward to meet the front and find a forward fold. But if your block is handy, we'll get that set to use another time. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, extended mountain, come all the way up, and exhale, fold right back down. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, fold. Plant the fingers on the mat, step the other foot back, and drop the knee. So probably left leg is forward. Find that anchored lunge and then rock it out. Drop it forward and rock it back. You may find that your hips and hamstrings really appreciate this. And if you find a sticky spot, stay there. But rock that out. And then let's go the other side. Now I'm going to turn around so that my back is not to you. Come back to this anchored low lunge. Like I mentioned, feel free to put a couple of blocks so that you raise the floor up to you, or bring your torso inside your leg. That's what works for me, is I just bring my torso inside my leg. Tuck the toes on the back foot, straighten that knee. Swing the heel around. Inhale, begin to rise up, and we'll find our warrior two. So let's take the warrior two apart again, straighten the front knee, bring the hands to the collarbones, rotate the elbows. That gets our hips in a good alignment. Then we can drop the front knee into the lunge if we want or not, and the hands go out. And then we look over the front fingers. Now check to make sure you can still see the big toe on your left foot. The left knee likes to roll in, and we want to encourage it to lean out toward the baby toe, to put our weight on the outside of the foot rather than dumping into the arch. We'll hold one more breath. And next, inhale, hinge, reach forward, and exhale, extended side angle. Resist the temptation to dump your weight on the front leg. That's really tempting to do, but we don't want to do that. We want to hold our body with our body, but you can rest the arm there gently. One more breath. Inhale, reverse warrior. Bottom hand comes up, top hand goes down and around. Finding our reverse warrior, and it's a side body stretch. Exhale, cartwheel the hands to the mat. Frame your foot, lift your heel. One step or two, forward fold, toes meet toes, front of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale all the way up, extended mountain, and exhale, fold back down. Now we're going to do it a little faster, one breath, one movement. So we're in a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Plant the hands, left foot steps back. Rotate the left heel. Inhale, rise up. Find your warrior two. Hold for just a breath. Inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior, up and over. Exhale, cartwheel the hands, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, extended mountain. And exhale, fold. Plant the hands, right foot steps back. Inhale, rise up, warrior two. Exhale for balance. Inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, cartwheel the hands to the mat. Frame the foot, step forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Now hold this fold for just a moment and see if there's a little more length in the back of the legs. Feel free to use a block to raise the floor up to you, or rest your hands at any point on your legs as we just hold for just a breath, maybe allowing the shoulders to drop down 1 more millimeter. Inhale, sweep it up, extended mountain. Exhale, fold it right back down. This time, step 1 foot back and then the other, whichever works for you. And let's come up to seated on the mat. So as usual, I've run lots of time today. I want to show you a hip stretch. You may have done a class where they did half pigeon, and we will do half pigeon down the road. But I want to show you a kinder, gentler outside hip stretch. A lot of times we hold tension in our hips. We definitely hold tightness in our hips. And a lot of our lack of flexibility that we blame on other things lives in our hips. So I like to spend some time working those hip joints. So I want to show you a kinder, gentler hip stretch. Seated up tall on your mat as always, feet out in front of you. Just take one knee with you and roll down flat on your back. Then bring both knees in toward your chest. Hug one knee in and then the other, and trade. Hug in the right one, release, left one, release. And you'll find a little rock from side to side that massages the low back and feels yummy. Enough of that. Drop both feet to the mat. Soles of the feet flat to the mat, heels into your hips, knees bent and lifted. Now, heels don't touch hips. They're about a hand or more apart. Relax your shoulders, wiggle them around to get comfy. Move your hips and get comfy. Massage the back of your head on the mat. Just make a home here. We're going to stay for several minutes. Got this one last stretch to do before we get to Shavasana. So leaving the left foot on the mat, raise the right leg up and point the toes up toward the ceiling. Feel free to bring your hands together behind your thigh, or if you've got a strap, use your strap and put your hands behind your thigh. We're not doing a big stretch here. Mostly what we're doing here is letting the blood and the lymph from our leg come back into our torso. It feels good. Anytime you can get your heels above your heart, it is good for your body. So we'll let that leg relax for just a breath, and then bend the right knee, drop the right leg down on top of the left thigh. Now the ankle and the foot should be off of the thigh. It should be leg bone on leg bone. This is called figure 4. It's a great bus stop posture, meaning there's lots of places to get off the bus. If laying right here feels good, or if you've got a stretch in the outside of your right hip and it feels good, this is your stop, get off the bus. But if you'd like a little more sensation, I'll offer you a couple more options. Bring your right hand up to your right thigh above your knee. So not pressing on your knee, but pressing on your thigh above your knee. Straighten the right elbow and press your right knee away from you and down. So away and down. As your hips get looser, that joint will actually roll. You'll feel it as the joint rolls, and the knee will go down. And it feels like you're going to rotate the knee down beside your toes. If that turned on a stretch in your hip and that feels good, this is your bus stop. Now, when I say feels good, that's subjective. It's going to be uncomfortable, but in a, oh, this hurts so good way. It should not be in a, oh, I'm going to be thinking about this yoga lady in 3 days way. It should just be a, when you release it, it goes away. And then when you press it, it comes back. So if that's enough sensation, stay there. If your torso is long and your arms are short, use your block in between your hand and your thigh to get a little more distance. But if you want a little more sensation, get back on the bus. Lift your left foot, let your toes hover, and your shin be parallel with the ceiling. And you can reach up and through to interlace your fingers behind your left leg, or grab a strap, a leash, a bathrobe, a scarf to make your arms longer. Now you can press your right elbow into your right thigh and gently use your hands to pull your left thigh into your torso a little bit more. This is our pretzel people posture for today. So you can turn on the amount of stretch or turn off the amount of stretch. Hips stretch so slow and they are so stubborn. So we work on them every time, and eventually we make progress. But we measure progress in yoga by millimeters. So don't think it happens overnight. Now, one last little bit, if you need more sensation, straighten the left leg, send the toes for the sky. And again, you push the one leg away while you pull the other leg into you. So lots of bus stops, and you can get on and off the bus wherever you want. Then untangle all of this. Left foot comes to the mat, right foot comes to the mat. Drop both knees one way And then drop both knees the other way. Give it a little windshield wiper and come back to center. Right foot stays planted. You know where we're going. Left leg lifts. Hands can hold it. Now we're not pulling, we're not stretching. We're just using the hands or the strap to let the weight of the leg relax and let gravity do its thing. Then we'll bend the left knee, drop the left leg down on top of the right, get back on the stretch bus. Do not expect your hips to be the same. Your hips are related, but they are cousins, maybe third cousins. They are not identical twins. Most of the differences in your body are going to show up in your hips. It's fascinating. So don't expect them to be the same. Treat each one separately. So this hip may need a different bus stop, but try that. Hold the knee, pressing against it, and you can hold and release, just straightening your left arm till you find a nice amount of stretch or not. If you'd like a little more stretch, get back on the bus, lift the right foot. You know the drill. Reach through, interlace the fingers. Left elbow presses against the left thigh. Hands draw the right thigh in a little closer. And we see where the stretch is happening in the hip today. Last bus stop would be to straighten your right leg toward the sky. And then we do that little bit of push and little bit of pull. Try a little rock from side to side. If it feels good, do it. If it doesn't, stop. Let's hold one more breath. Then we're going to come into our peak posture for the day, the whole purpose of today's class. Drop your right foot to the mat, left foot to the mat. Let your arms flop out wide. Windshield wiper the legs. So that means to drop both knees one way, both knees the other way. Let the arms be nice and wide. And turn the hands up so the fingers can curl. Bring your legs in together. Knees are still bent and lifted. Walk your feet out to the width of your mat and let your knees drop in together. This is constructive rest pose. I just offer this to put a tool in your toolbox. We're actually on our way to the most important yoga posture of all, which is Shavasana. So if it feels okay, slide one leg long, wide as the mat, the other leg long, wide as the mat, and then let your toes, ankles, and knees roll open. So we're going to work Shavasana like a posture because it is. It is the most difficult posture of all. We Westerners are not used to doing nothing. We have to learn to relax. So starting with your feet and ankles, your knees, give your hips a wiggle. Can you get 1% more comfortable? What does that take? What do you need? Then bring your attention up to your back and to your shoulders. Do you need to wiggle your shoulders under your body, or do you need to wiggle them out from under your body to get 1% more comfortable? Massage the back of your head on the mat, a little circular motion, not just back and forth. There'll be a sweet spot where your whole nervous system goes, oh, that's the place. Find that place and then relax. Scan your body for any tension, any tightness that's hiding. Scan the body. If you find the tension or the tightness, can you melt it away? Or can you accept it? It is what it is. Can you soften and deepen the breath? Can you soften the thoughts? Can you let your mind drift and wander? Let the thoughts come, but let them go. Let them drift past you. If the thoughts are intruding, bring your focus to your breath and just notice your breath. Maybe you say silently, inhale and exhale to give your mind something to do. Soften. And bring your awareness back to your breath, noticing your breath, paying attention, awareness. Awareness of the belly rising and fall. Awareness of the ribs expanding and contracting. And then let that awareness go out into fingers and toes. And give those a wiggle. Wiggle the fingers, the toes, roll the wrists, roll the ankles, massage the back of your head on the mat, and let those little movements become gentle stretches. And then the gentle stretches get larger. As you begin to wake the body back up and become aware of the outside world again. And then as you're ready, roll to one side or take a knee and bring yourself back up to seated. And we'll end the practice where we started. So find your way back to a seated posture, perhaps with the eyes still closed, up on the edge of your blanket or your towel. Sit up tall, hips are anchored, shoulders over hips, ears over shoulders, the slightest bit of tuck in the chin, and find your breath. Find where the breath is moving in your body. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. Breathing in, feeling the lungs expand. Breathing out, feel the sense of letting go, of settling, of being grounded. Breathing in to feel the body getting fuller. Breathing out to feel the release of any last bit of tension. Breathing in, feeling alive and awake. Breathing out, feeling the muscles relax. Eyes can stay closed. I like to end my yoga practices in a traditional manner, and that is seated with a tall spine, wide shoulders, no requirement to participate, but I like to appreciate the thousands of years of the practice rather than just appropriate. And traditionally, a practice is closed with a thank you from teacher to student. As a teacher, I thank you. I appreciate, I am honored by your trust in allowing me to in some way guide your yoga practice. I thank you for that. The light in me sees, honors, reflects, and respects the light in you. May peace be yours today, tomorrow, and always. May joy gladden your days, and may laughter fill your hours, and may love lead your way on. Namaste. Stay. Give me just a moment to turn off our recording, and then we can, I love the bifocal bits. Okay.